Will Ferrell and Zach Galifianakis, both who had roots in North Carolina and some connection to political stuff. Zach's uncle had run for the U.S. Senate against Jesse Helms. He had been a congressman, and they wanted to be in a movie together where they would go against each other, and they decided politics. So they came to me and said, would you direct this? And Adam McKay, who's worked with Will on the Bush thing, the HBO thing, and the show they did, was going to write it with Chris Henchy and produce it also. Those are the Funny or Die guys. So I just said, yeah, sure, I'm happy to jump in. And they came to me, I think, because I had done 2 political films recently, Game Change and Recount for HBO, and I'd also done comedy and worked with Will. I think I was in Will's. I did Will's first feature film because he was in Austin Powers as Mustafa, the assassin that you couldn't quite kill off. That's right. And I'd worked with Zach too and Dinner for Schmucks. So they each come at you a different way. Will seems so accessible, and you feel like you kind of get him, and then there's layers of dysfunction that come out throughout the course of the story. Whereas Zach is off-putting from the get-go. He just seems like one of the weirdest people ever when you first meet him on screen, and often in real life too. He's a very funny, eccentric person, but as you get to know the character, I feel he becomes the heart and soul of the story, and you kind of fall for him because you see how sweet he is in a way as it goes on, and that's kind of how they come out. That's how they are to work with too. It takes a while. It took a while for me to get Zach's kind of rhythm, but then once I did, he snuck up on me too, and it was an amazing experience. And they're very close, but a lot of times you have trouble with actors absorbing each other's energy, and they start to seem like the same character. Not with these 2 guys. They always, even off camera when they're kidding each other, and they're often trash talking each other off camera too, they retain complete separation. They're very distinct and separate from each other, which has made it easy for me. We were shooting during the GOP primaries, which had a feeling of reality show competition at the time, just that their primary season happened to be going on, right? So every day we would come in and say, did you see what happened yesterday? Did you see what someone said the night before? And we would often say, we got to step this up and try to work something in to the... I remember one story, just to briefly, was that it was announced that Herman Cain had been accused of some kind of sexual harassment thing, and the next week his polls went up. So we folded that into the script right away. We always wanted to have it, like, my parents are very, very conservative, like super conservative, and I have them on my shoulder when, and they're quick to adjust me in terms of my prejudices about certain aspects of things, and we don't always agree on everything, but I want them to find something in it that they can't dismiss, so I often, even in Game Change, when we were, my dad sent me a note saying, now you don't go, they're from Texas, so I can imitate their southern accent. You don't go messing with Sarah, making fun of Sarah. So I had that in mind. I wanted people to, like my father, to get something about what we were saying, about what was wrong with that kind of win at all costs, rushed vet kind of thing, but still be very, honest and truthful about exactly what was flawed and dysfunctional about that situation. So here we it's a comedy first and foremost. We weren't trying to make any kind of propaganda piece except to just say, wow, is this really how we want politics to go? Because it isn't that far from, it's almost a documentary of what's going on. Yeah. One tricky thing was we couldn't have it be too big of a budget based on the kind of movie it was, finding the right state. We wanted to shoot in North Carolina, and we had all heard that was a tax break state. And it turns out the Louisiana tax break was much, much better, and then for whatever reason, there was North Carolina wasn't practical. So we ended up having to shoot in one of the most striking, beautiful cities there is, and make it look like an entirely different place. That was always a challenge because we ended up shooting in more of the suburbs than in this city. But man, the food is amazing in New Orleans. all people talked about around the monitors was what restaurant they ate. That became one of the hardest challenges. But no, we're actually shooting. I don't want to hear about the beef cheeks you had at Sylvain's last night.